It was a solid performance overall. I just think it was a shame we didn't see a tifo for Sonny. Honestly, I mean something. Come
What?
on, something.
That's a
At
great
least something.
point.
Like, it would have been beautiful.
Mate, that's a
Like
great point. Why didn't I think
Well, wait a
of
minute. Think about how long ago did it get announced? Last week. Is that quick enough to get all that done? The plan. It might have been a little bit, but I completely agree.
yeah, it is. It is. But
It would have
he
been
should
great
be
to
able
have done
to.
something.
Yeah, if they really wanted it, they could make it happen. But yeah,
But yeah, what's your thoughts on tonight's performance?
it was solid. It was solid. I think it was a performance that will. I think it will make the players. I think it will benefit the players more than it will like benefit Frank, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Like I think the players learned more of each other than Frank had to, because it was a low tier opposition. They did, they were able to get up a gear because it was a back and forth game. We can see that it was quite back and forth from the get go, and I think the game plan today was to have a high line. It was to have high pressure, and it was to sort of don't hold back. And it worked in our favor. We're the better team at the end of the day, and yeah, positive overall. And there's a lot of points I want to go into specifically, but
Let's
the
do it.
game it was a good game. But Tell, I want to go start off with Tell. I think it's good that he's gotten included in the squad now.
Yep.
It's a good thing, honestly. I think his striking ability is underrated. Like he shoots when most of our forwards would pass. He shoots in those opportunities. We could see that versus Leeds United. And if it's one thing the Bayern fans praised him for, it was his shooting ability. He came up with a few like thundercunts, like a few banging shots for Bayern like that. They stuck with the fans, 3 shots, like fucking 3 shots that I remember. If that's what you call them, right?
what did
That's
you
what you
say?
call them.
Oh,
That's what you call them.
don't repeat it. Don't repeat it.
All right, sorry.
Yeah,
I'm
don't-
Swedish.
don't-
Swedish. That's what I've heard it's called.
Don't.
Oh, my God.
That was worth it. That was worth
my
it.
God.
That was worth it.
Oh my gosh!
Don't
I
worry.
swear that's what they call them. Isn't that what they
Mate,
call them?
mate, listen, that was a brilliant. That was wonderful. That was wonderful terminology. But I do agree with you. Like we were saying in the previous call, I'm starting to like what I see from Tell. And I will say, do you remember what Matisse Tell did for that shot when he cut in with his dancing feet on the court? Do you remember a goal by Jermaine Defoe against Manchester City under AVB when we beat him 3-2?
That's
3-1, and then Gareth Bale scored as well when it was on the.
Yes, yeah.
When he kind of whipped in and took the shot so quickly.
Yeah.
Matisse Tell, like you were just saying, Alex, I won't say the terminology, has got that very quick snapshot, and I think he's growing in stature. It's going to be little by little, step by step, but I agree with you. I'm getting a lot more excited about Tell's progress than I am Odebear's right now. But what was the next point on your list?
The midfield in general, I think we saw today that Archie and Palinia, they don't complement each other like as well as I think Archie and Bentancur. We could see it against Brentford. They gelled immediately. I think a better combo you'll see sort of complement each other is Berval and Palinia, as Stel mentioned. Because there you have a more like offensively tuned player and a more defensively, more because Bentancur and Archie, they're more neutral. They're the hybrid sort of midfielder, and then with Bergvall and Bellinia, it's more contrast. I think they'll complement each other well, but Frank hasn't played them together yet. And honestly, I'd love to see just Bellinia sitting back and Bergvall and Xavi interlinking like as two tens.
Yep.
Behind the forward three in games where we really like want to smack our opponent. And I'm just waiting to see that because I think it'll work. Like Palinia, then Bergvall and Xavi as a sort of 10 duo, behind. I think that'll work great. But
I think you're the third person. Stel, yourself, and Nate was mentioned in this. Paulinia Bergvall setup will be better because obviously I think we know now the number 10 is going to be Simmons game after game. Obviously he will need rested or whatever, but do you think the big question about Xavi Simmons, the games he was out, yes, we were all asking for him to start a few more of them, maybe not all of them, But do you reckon the Spurs coaching team said, right, we're going to take you out for a bit, put you on the bench, but build you up in the gym, let you settle into the country a bit more, really make a more intense training program, and then, I mean, obviously he's brought him back in and we can say, yup, he's come in, he's done wonders. But do you think there's been stuff going on behind the scenes with his training, his individual training, as opposed to, right, you just weren't ready to play?
Yeah, I think when you take a player out for as long as we did with Xavi, I think it was 3 games on the bounce, I think you have a greater opportunity to sort of, specifically develop a certain area of his game, like to sort of make him more ready for when he comes back. Because I think it was positive, honestly. I think most of us can say now that him getting dropped for 3 games now, it's made him into a different player. This is the Xavi. He's not reached his maximum levels yet. We know there's more to it, but he's the sort of Xavi that we expected when we bought. Like he's performing now. It's not against high level opposition, Prague and Brentford.
Yep.
But it's still performing, and you can't blame a player for doing it. Like you have to do it against every sort of top tier opposition. And I think now when he gets a run of games against Forest and Liverpool, he'll just grow, because he's that kind of player that the more you play him and the more he sort of reads his teammates, the team, like his intelligence is so high that he'll develop like so quick, and we won't look back ever since, because I think he'll be a great player for us. And whenever Kulusevski and Matters comes back, it'll be hard to integrate them too, because I think Xavi he's going to lock down a spot now. That's what I believe.
Still?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've made my views on this. What I think in terms
Anything else
of.
you want to add?
No. I normally disagree with Alex on everything when he comes on, but tonight I agree with everything he's saying.
Yeah, Alex. You know what? We haven't spoken.
I agree with you, Alex. I agree with you tonight. There's nothing I disagree with.
We haven't spoken with anyone.
There's nothing controversial to talk about, really. Like I can go on about this. I think I'm gonna rewind the tape a little bit now, but I think Frank, like the sort of main criticism I've had against him, as I didn't notice the previous shows I was on with you still, is that he is a low risk opportunity, like a low risk manager. He says he wants to take risk, but if you look at Brentford last season, they were the team. Let me pull up the stat because I have it here. They were the team that they had the highest shot on target percentage in the league. Mm-hmm. So, of the amount of shots they took, like it was, they had the highest percentage on target, because he minimizes the risks. And the goals or the shots outside of the box, that was also the lowest in the Premier League. Like you had the proof all there. He's not going to change it just because he comes to Spurs. I think he showed us what his default sort of main set tactics were in the beginning of the season. It was like the sort of framework he wanted to build from, and it was boring. The framework he wanted to build from, it worked the best when we played 1 game a week earlier on in the season, because then he had double the amount of time to plan for games. It's obvious. Again, when he was at Brentford, he had a week almost every between every game he had a week to prepare. So that was the default. Yeah, judged him for, but I think he's learning. That's the positive, because you've criticized him with all due right, and the only thing you have to sort of put him up against is that he learns. And I think he's learned the most. Like he's learned a crucial part of what we've been missing, and that's our offense. Like he's made that work now.
I think 2 games is too soon to judge that.
Yeah,
it looks like it's. I thought Newcastle, we were awful.
No, I'm not saying I agree. It was an awful performance.
We weren't an attacking.
Mate, I'm not knocking the performance.
The last 2 games we've been attacking.
The 2 games we've been attacking. What I'm saying about the Newcastle game is every single game recently, Newcastle away. Even in that game, people like it to be a 3-4, 5-0 battering. Newcastle should have been outside. The fight and determination to get back into that game.
So I was about to say, what I saw against Newcastle was a team that was we played like a team.
Yeah,
we were a team in that game. We
unit.
Yeah, like we fought together to get back in the game. That's what I saw. Alex, let me ask you something. What you just said. Do you think Frank's learning, or do you think Because you know when people say that, when people say that, I say to myself, but if you've been managing for 13 years, what do you mean you're
I'm
learning?
about to slap you.
Like,
Still, I think it's about going down.
Do you think he's been forced into this? Because
Yeah, I knew we were going to say
that
forced.
stadium. No, the reason I'll tell you why I'm asking it. It's a question. I don't know the answer. That stadium was getting toxic. It was getting toxic. The boos were coming.
Yeah.
Certain YouTubers were calling Frank out. The media were talking about him. Do you think he was forced into, I better change this? Do you think he was forced into it? Or do you think, like you said, he looked at it, he thought, you know what? Maybe I've got to revisit it. Maybe he thought himself that prior. What
Alex, before you answer
what's
that,
your thinking on that?
Before you answer, I'm just going to bring in another, and I always bring this one up.
Yeah, bring it up.
Whether you think it's he
I don't know the answer, by
I
the
think
way.
there was a lot of pressure that he had to make changes, and I think he realised finally this
don't know
isn't
why.
working. But what I keep going back to, and before the chat goes wild, I am not comparing him to Antonio Conte. But do you remember when Antonio Conte was at Chelsea, and they lost to the filth?
He changed it.
And
yeah.
he was like, right, I've tried it this way, it ain't working. I'm going back.
could
to
be
what
that.
I know.
It could be that, yeah.
He changed it.
It could be that, yeah.
But I don't think Frank said, right, I don't think this is his. I think his default was what he had been doing, and I think it took to that part and the toxicity that it was getting, and some of it rightly so. Even I will say it with the style of play. I think it may have forced his hand, but sometimes it takes that little while to say, right, this ain't working. I've tried every combination. This ain't working. I need to try
That's fair.
this way.
Yeah.
I mean, Alex, what's your thoughts on it?
I haven't been a believer of this forced into, like we talked about this. It was a prime example 2 seasons ago. Was it 2 seasons or 1 season ago? When we won 4-0 against City at the Etihad. And
That was Ange last season.
Yeah, it was split in the fan base between he got forced into it, City played into our hands, and it was deliberate by Ange. Like it was so split in the fan base. I wasn't one of them that believed that it was forced, or that he was forced into it. And I think the situation is now. I think he shows at the beginning of the season. He shows to go into a very low risk sort of route that he then realized he couldn't continue on. Because the result were costing us. The results, the reactions from the fans, the overall performance, the overall XG, which was disgusting. Everybody can agree that it was disgusting. Nobody can get away from that. And even today, I think if Slavia scored, which they could have, I think we could have kicked up a gear. If they scored and we sort of sensed or felt threat, I think we could have kicked up a gear and would have just capitalized immediately after and scored. I think we have that in us, and when our forwards gel, I think they're complementing each other. We have Kudus, we have Xavi. We don't have a high scoring striker right now. You can argue Richie, but you can see today he's the biggest hit and miss player we've signed during the last decades. He's hit and miss constantly, and he doesn't provide that 100% reliability we need from a striker. And the left wing spot, that's our most leaking, breaching spot. We have to strengthen there. And yeah, overall I think he's learning, and I haven't been one of those fans that jumped on any bandwagon in 100%. I've been balanced. I haven't. But for me, also, I want to mention this. Stel, you mentioned earlier, you don't want to get carried away and blah blah blah. I think you gotta put contrast to it. You can enjoy yourselves and celebrate like a lunatic about today, but still don't get carried away. Still don't put higher expectations of the next game and how we're gonna play the next. It can just be you want to enjoy the moment.
All right. So here's the thing. This is about personality, right? So Brian,
I'm
from
not
day
saying-
one, Brian from day one was yes, Frank. He's my guy. Blah 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 blah. But for me, I. Do you know what? This is a personality thing. Tottenham has sucked the life out of me the last 6 years. If you saw me under Poch, I was a fanatic, lunatic. Loved it. Since
Glad you
then,
weren't on YouTube then.
yeah, before YouTube. Since then, they've sucked the life out of me. So now, unless we get to a final like a Europa, or unless we're challenging for a league, or unless we beat Arsenal or Chelsea, you're not going to see me going Daigle mode.
I know what you mean.
Is that what you're calling now? Daigle mode?
You're not going to see me going Daigle mode. No, because that's just where I'm at now as a fan. It's almost show me a trophy, show me a final, beat Arsenal, and you'll see me going wild. I just think it's.
Hunter.
I just think. Do you know what? The one thing you can't call a Spurs fan, you can't call a Spurs fan a glory hunter. do you get it, Alex?
Still.
It's a personality thing.
I get it. I get it. I'm just
Yeah.
saying, like, the amount of times, especially last season, the amount of
Like
times I
Eagleman.
sat numb in front of the TV, and I just laughed. I just laughed. I was like, I'm gonna go to the mental asylum soon because I just sat in front of the TV and I laughed. You know, it's a choice.
It's a
You either
nervous
cry,
laugh. I know.
Yeah.
I know.
you either cry or you laugh.
I've
That's the
been like
choice.
that for 6 years.
Yeah, when it gets bad. Still, I want to call. I gotta mention this. Call me out if I'm wrong, but I think, honestly, now I'm totally honest. I think you would have been fully behind Brank, like his biggest supporter, if he went on to win that Super Cup. And in his first game as Tottenham manager, he lifted a trophy. I think
Hundred
one.
percent. 100%.
Yeah, man, and that's what I mean. I'm still hung over that game because I know that we're not going to get an opportunity to play in a Super Cup for probably another
Do
5 years.
you know
It
what? Do you know what will
stinks.
excite me, Alex? Just I tell you what will excite, like really excite me.
I said that was a crucial game, like a huge game for Frank. If he would have won that Super Cup, he would have had a whole fan base
Yeah,
behind
the
him.
whole fan
Whole
base.
fan- and it would have been much easier for
We would
him
have
to
shut
sort of
past them as well.
have a more bigger collective behind him. Because now it's split, still split.
I tell you what will super excite me, like really excite me. Whoever the manager is, whether it's Frank or the next guy, whoever it is, if Enoch just back the manager.
Well, we're going to see in January.
If Enoch, well, I think January a little bit, the
January,
summer.
I think a big player comes in.
If Enoch back a manager, just properly back a manager, I will get excited, whoever the manager is.
Yeah.
Even if we bring back Nuno and he gets backed, I will get excited. Because I've never seen Enoch back a
Nuno.
manager.
January, I think we do bring
never
in
seen
a one quality player. I don't know the money or whatever, but whether it be a loan or whatever, I do think there's talk about. Obviously, I was doing the watch along with Simeon for Villa, and if of the weekend of the 9th we play Villa, I think Spurs go early and get a player in. Well, I'm not saying if it'll be a loan or a high quality player, but I think they will go early and bring someone in to say, right, this is where we're going with this. What do you feel about that, Alex? Last point.
Brian, like what we need is experience. We need experience. And you know
Yeah.
something I hate within our fan base right now is that because we've gone down the youth route, like the youth pathway, whenever a signing that would be great for us in terms of experience, leadership, which we lack leadership in my opinion, and talent. Like if they're 30 plus, we're like, no, we can't sign a 30 plus, but it's like off the charts, and I hate that because I think what we need is older players right now, experienced players that can bring this squad together. You know, because if you look at Villa, they've just signed 23 to 31, 32 year olds for the last like 4 years. They've just signed older players, and what you can see right now as a unit, Villa right now, is that they're all on the same page. There's no differences. Everybody can be consistent because they don't have youth. They don't have youth in general that they have to rely on. We have to rely. Our backups are a lot of youths that aren't consistent. You can't rely on them to be consistent because they're younger. They're gonna have inconsistency, so that's a part of it. So what I think we have to do now in the coming windows is we have to go out and we have to spend on experience, and whether that's 30 plus, whether you get a midfielder 30 plus or whatever, just do it honestly. I think Perisic was a prime example of that.
Yep.
What he brought to us, especially during the season after, not during Conte, but during Ange, I think if he would have played on and never got injured, I think he would have been our best winger. And he was 32 when we signed him. So
Agreed.
that's a thing that I think we have to stop being afraid of. Oh, age. We have to be no. We can't sign any more young players. And I have to talk to Stell about this because Stell, when I've heard you say, oh, you know, he has to put credit in the bank for us to be able to spend, like for me to feel like it's worth spending on Frank, he has to put credit in the bank. I couldn't even care less. But you know why? Because I've said this so many times. If you spend on quality that any manager can utilize, then the manager becomes irrelevant to the conversation. Not totally, but hugely he becomes irrelevant to the conversation, to the equation, if we sign pure quality that any manager can utilize. Semenyo, whatever. Frank is sacked, the next manager will be able to utilize him. Quality flourishes under any system, and that's where I don't even think about Frank. He's not in my picture. When it comes to my club that I support and love, I want to see us go big in January transfer window and sign quality. Not because I don't even think about Frank. It's not about system players, but I want to sign quality that we can utilize in every sort of system you can think of. Back three, defensive 4-3-3, whatever you want to. Quality. That's what we need on now, and I think we need experienced quality more than anything. I think they'll uplift us, where we'll start to see another level being taken.
Well, Alex, let's see what happens in the transfer window. We've got a backlog of
you see
people.
you see what I mean, mate? Like, I don't think it should be like, oh, should we spend on him?
No, Alex, listen, I agree with you. Whoever the manager is, we've got a back. Alex, listen, I don't want to rush you off, but we've got
2 more guests to
more
get
to
through.
go through.
We're going to try and get this done, and we get home before midnight. So we're going to do this.
Okay.
Alex, always a pleasure, brother.
Fingers crossed we spend money in January. Fingers crossed.
Take care, guys. Okay.
See you later, old brother.
Big up, Alex. Look after yourself.
Right.